Welcome back to Life Fullnof Zest, and today I'm so excited to find myself in one of our most favorite places in the world. It's a small little gym in the Eastern Cape, and it's been so cold here, but today the sun has finally come out, so we thought, why not do a full body Pilates workout? Today we are going to be focusing on strength and toning. Before we get into it, let's start with a little warm-up. We are going to be starting in the center of our mats, in a seated position. I want you to extend your legs out in front of you. Let's take a deep inhale. And as we exhale, lengthening that spine, drawing that belly to spine, bringing arms into T-point. Let's flex those ankles, taking a deep breath in. And as we inhale, rotating towards that left side and reaching towards that opposite right side. As we reach our chest towards that knee, then lifting back up on that inhale, exhaling, coming back to center. Inhale, rotating towards that other side. Exhale, reach and extend. And you're going to do this for a few more times, just focusing on that rotation of that spine as you reach as far as you can, coming back to center and reaching forward. You want to feel a stretch down that hamstring. You want to feel a rotation in that spine, and you want to feel a stretch all the way down that low back. So let's work really hard, synchronizing our movements with our breath. And last one on each side, reaching forward, coming back up. And last one, and slowly coming back up, bringing arm into T-point, then coming to center, lifting your arms up towards the sky, taking a deep breath in, exhaling, tucking in head, neck, and chest, and reaching your arms forward and extending them towards those toes. Take a deep breath in, exhaling slowly, rolling yourself up, bringing those arms up towards the sky. Inhaling, exhaling, lowering them all the way down. We're going to do 2 more of these after this one. Lifting those arms up. Inhale to pause. Exhaling, rolling yourself all the way back up. Now bringing those arms back up to the sky. Last one, deep breath in. Exhaling, tucking in, reaching forward. And we're going to stay here. We're going to extend that back and drawing those biceps towards those ears. We're going to do little pulsations of those thumbs towards the ceiling for 10, 9, 8, core tight, 6, 5, 4, pushing those knees into the ground, 2, 1. Now slowly reaching forward, releasing that back extension to slowly roll yourself back up. We're going to tuck that left foot into that right groin. Lifting those arms all the way back up towards the sky. Let's take a deep breath in. And as we exhale, we're reaching that right arm up and over towards that left-hand side. Inhaling to come to center. Exhaling, reaching that left arm up and over towards that flexed ankle and straight leg. Deep breath in as we come back to center and then reaching over. And we've got 2 more of these. Inhale to center, reaching over. And slowly coming back. Last one, reaching towards that left-hand side. Reach that right hand over, coming back to center. And reaching that left arm over, trying to grab that toe. Let's lean right into that leg. And holding for 3, 2, 1. I want you to grab that big toe with your right hand and slowly bring that left arm over onto the mat. And now slowly lifting that right leg up towards the sky, looking towards the opposite direction, trying to look over that left shoulder. Holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now bending that leg to tuck it into that left groin as you extend that right groin, bringing those arms up towards the sky. Taking a deep inhale, exhale, reaching that left arm over towards that right-hand side as you open that left part of your trunk. Deep breath in, coming back to center. Exhale, reaching all the way over, bringing that right arm towards that left foot as you bend that trunk. Inhaling, coming back to center, and exhale, reaching towards that right hand side. Keep working. Use this time just to get that movement within that body. Allow that body to warm up. getting that flexibility into those joints. One more, reaching over on that exhale, slowly coming back to center. Now reaching all the way over. We're going to hold here. I want you to open that chest as much as you can. Flex that ankle as much as you can. Looking straight out in front of you. Deep breath. Now grabbing your big toe with your left hand as you reach over. Bringing that right hand onto the mat as you bend that left foot and lifting it up towards the sky. Looking over that right shoulder. And we're going to hold here. Deep breaths. Just embrace and enjoy that stretch. Now slowly coming all the way down and turning over into an all fours position. Remember, in this position, you want to make sure that that pelvis is in that neutral position. We're going to go straight into our cat stretch. Wrists right below those shoulders, knees right below those hips. Let's take a deep inhale. Exhale, rounding that spine all the way up towards the sky. Inhaling to pause. Exhaling, opening that chest, looking in front of you. Deep breath in. Exhaling, rounding that spine. Again, just using this time to allow that body to wake up, to get ready for the beautiful time of movement and activation. And inhaling. Exhaling, opening that chest. Now coming back to center, let's look straight down in front of us. I want you to engage that tummy, engage that pelvic floor. And I want you to slowly squeeze your right hip towards that right shoulder. Then coming back to center, then squeeze that left hip towards that left shoulder, coming back to center. So very small movements. The key here again is just to get that activation in that tummy and then get used to that movement and that control between that pelvis and that spine. And left, coming back to center. And last one, coming back to center. Let's tuck those feet in under those toes, and we're going to lift and hover those knees off the mat. So we're going to hold here, deep breath in and exhaling. And as we're engaging, I want you to imagine like you're pushing yourself away from that mat, drawing those scaps down that back. Let's take a deep breath in. Exhale, right hand goes to left shoulder, then coming back to center, then left hand to right shoulder. And that's the movement, and being sure not to transfer that weight too much. You want to maintain a good stability within those lower limbs and that core. Breathing as we're working, making sure that we're engaging that tummy as we move from left to right, 90 degrees in those knees and 90 degrees in those hips. And let's go for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. From here, lifting that left foot off the floor and bringing it through that arm and leg as you reach over, and slowly coming back into center to lift that other leg to do that same thing. Again, this is another mobility exercise as well as stability. You want to make sure that you're opening that trunk and opening that chest as you reach from left to right. We're going to do one more on each side. On this last one, we're going to lift and hold, reaching over, holding in this position for 5, 4, looking over, 2, 1, coming over and changing for one last time, reaching over for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, coming back to center, lifting those glutes up towards the sky into our downward dog, head going through those arms, and rotating that pelvis up towards the sky, pushing those heels into the ground. Deep breath for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly rolling yourself forward into a front support position. And now slowly bringing yourself into a plank position. So elbows are on the mat. We're going to lift right foot off the mat. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, toe tap, lifting back up. Bring that leg out to the side. Toe tap, back up. That's the movement. Making sure that you're keeping that tummy tight, core down. And inhaling and exhaling as we're working. You want to feel this in your shoulders. You want to feel it in your glute as well as your core. And let's keep working. Breathing in and out. And let's do one more. And toe tap center, lifting out to the side, lifting and slowly holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lifting yourself back up, bringing that leg all the way towards the sky into three-legged downward dog. Keep holding here. Now slowly tucking that knee in and bringing it into a pigeon pose. We're going to allow that right glute to stretch out, looking up towards the sky. Deep breath in. Exhale, bring your arms towards the sky as you slowly bring those arms towards the mat and chest all the way down as far as you can go. We're just going to hold here. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lifting your arms back onto the mat as you lift that right leg back up into three-legged downward dog. And slowly dropping it onto the mat, rolling forward into your front support position, and then back into that plank. We're going to progress that exercise. We're going to take a deep inhale, and as we exhale, lifting those glutes up towards the sky, then slowly coming back to center. And that's 1, and 2, and 3. Keep working. The key here is to keep that pelvis in that neutral position and keeping that core tight. Sucking belly to spine. And you want to feel this working in those shoulders. It's a beautiful shoulder stretch as well as a shoulder activation. And last one, coming back to center, lifting left leg up, deep breath in, exhale, toe tap, lifting back, and then coming out to the side, back up. And again, I want you to make sure that you almost pushing yourself away from the floor with those elbows, and your heels are above those toes on the stabilizing foot, and you're not lifting your glutes up too high, looking straight out in front of you, and inhaling and exhaling as you're working. And keep going, slow toe taps, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lifting that leg up to center and holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming onto those hands, lifting that leg up into three-legged downward dog. Deep breath. Exhale, tucking that foot in and dropping it into pigeon pose. Looking up in front of you, leaning into that glute, and slowly lifting those arms up towards the sky and bringing them all the way down towards the mat as you rest your elbows on that mat. Deep breath, allow that body to recover. Slowly coming back up, tucking those toes of your back foot in, lifting that leg all the way up into three-legged downward dog, holding here, pointing those toes, lifting those heels. Now slowly dropping that leg into two-legged downward dog, rolling yourself forward, coming back into those elbows on the mat, into that plank position. Keep working. Let's push through. Deep breath in. Exhale, lift those glutes up towards the sky, then back. We're going to do 10 of these before we progress the movement. That's 3. Keep working, squeezing those glutes. 4 and 5. 6, core tight. 7 and 8. 2 more. Keep pushing. Keep going with me to my count. Coming back to center. Now from here, we're going to lift those hips, drop them towards the right hand side, back to center, lifting up and over towards the left. And this is a really good oblique exercise. So you want to work really hard, keeping that control and that stability. And let's do 2 more on each side. Exhale to the side, inhale, center. Exhale to the left, inhale, center. And last one. And slowly coming back, dropping those knees onto the mat and leaning into that rest position. Wow, I'm feeling a deep burn into my tummy. I hope you are too. It's a really great feeling. If you're feeling that burn, it means you're working hard and you're doing the right thing. Let's take a deep inhale, coming back to center, lifting ourselves back up into that downward dog, drawing those head through those arms, sternum to the mat. And we're just going to take this time to walk out those legs, so just dropping alternate heels into the ground as you walk out those calves. And slowly pushing both heels into the mat, rolling yourself forward, back into that front support position. We're going to lift that right knee, bending it towards that elbow. Going to take a deep inhale, exhale, drawing and rotating that right knee towards that left elbow, then coming back to center. That's 1 and 2 and 3. So we're just rotating that knee from left to right elbow, keeping that core tight. Left elbow, right elbow, left elbow, right elbow. And last one, we're going to bring that right knee toward that left elbow and holding here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And slowly coming back into 3-legged downward dog and dropping yourself forward into single-legged front support position, placing the back right foot on the back of your left heel, taking a deep breath in and exhaling, coming down into a push-up and then all the way back up. We're going to do 5 of these. That's 1 and 2. Using those arms to push up. If you struggle, you can do this with your knees on the mat. Got 2 more. Exhale up, inhale down. Last one, lifting that right leg off the mat, dropping it down, and slowly coming back into downward dog. Let's drop those knees onto the mat, pushing those shoulders into the ground as you come into your rest position. Take this moment to stretch out, walking your arms to the left-hand side for a bit. Slowly walking both arms to the right-hand side. Coming back to center, and we are going to do this on the other side, coming back into all fours. Rolling yourself forward into that front support position, bending that left knee, taking a deep breath, then exhale, drawing that left knee to right elbow, then back to left elbow. That's 1. And I really want you to focus on rotating the body if you can, and as much as you can. Keep working. And 4, and 5, and 6. Last 2, and 7, and 8. And holding here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Extending that leg, placing your toes on that back right heel. Deep breath in as we lower ourselves down. Exhale up for 5 push-ups. That's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Last 1 and 5. Lifting that leg up, lifting yourself back up into 3-legged downward dog, dropping yourself down. Now slowly bending those knees and lifting yourself between those hands to come into a seated position. Bringing arms out in front of you. Let's take a deep inhale. Exhale slowly, rolling yourself all the way down. to lie down on the mat. Very nice, everyone. You should be feeling a beautiful burn in those shoulders and arms and tummy. Let's just rock those knees from left to right, just to allow an active recovery before we progress with our final few sequences. Coming back to center, let's interlace our hands comfortably behind our head. Deep breath in. Exhale, right leg into tabletop, then left leg. We're going to lift head, neck, and chest off the floor. And we're going to extend right leg. Inhale, center. Left leg, inhale, center. That's the movement. Just starting with a basic variation before we progress the workout. And as we're doing this, I want you to really focus on drawing those shoulders away from those ears, sucking belly to spine, making sure those ribs aren't flaring, and also making sure that you aren't straining that neck in any way. All right, are we ready to progress? Let's take a deep inhale. And as we're exhaling, we're extending right leg, lowering it down, back up into tabletop, left leg, lower it down, coming back up into tabletop. So that's the movement, keeping head, neck, and chest off the mat. And lifting left leg extension, then lowering, coming back to tabletop, right leg extension, lower, coming back to tabletop. And as you lower that leg, I want you to make sure that you aren't bracing that tummy. It shouldn't be flaring out. You want to have a nice, beautiful, engaged core that's really focused on going towards that spine. And last one on each leg, keep working. Slowly coming back to center into that tabletop position. Deep breath in, exhale. Left elbow towards right knee, inhale, center. Keep working, now opposite direction. So the key here is you're rotating at the level of that waist. So it's right rib to left hip and then left rib to right hip. And let's go for another 5, 4, 3, and 2, and 1. Slowly coming back to center and hugging those arms towards that chest. Deep breaths, very nice, everybody. Should be feeling it all the way down that tummy. And if you are feeling like you're straining that neck, rather stop, reset, and get back in to join us. Let's look from left to right just to stretch out that neck. And slowly dropping right leg down, then left leg down onto that mat. We're going to lift those hips up towards the sky, one vertebra at a time. Lifting, 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 drawing those knees towards each other, lifting those arms up towards the sky. Deep breath in, drawing those heels towards those glutes, squeezing those glutes as much as you can. Let's take a deep inhale and exhaling, lifting that right leg up into tabletop, extending it all the way up towards the sky, taking a deep breath in, exhaling, slowly lowering that right leg as you lower those limbs, and then coming back to center. And you can see my toes are pointing in the direction that my leg is going. And leading through that heel as you're working, making sure that you are tilting that pelvis, that you're not putting any strain onto that lower back. Slow and controlled. If you do find that you're losing control, rather do it with your hands on the mat as you're working. Leading through that heel, keep working, lifting those glutes as high as you can. And 3, and 2. And if you want a little bit more of a modification, you can do it with your leg bent like so. Let's extend, coming back to center, aligning those knees and holding here for 10 counts as you open those arms into T-point, then back to center. That's 1 and 2. Keep working, leading through that heel. 4, working hard. 5 and 6. Keep working. 7, exhale, inhale, center. 8 and 9 and 10. Slowly bending that leg into tabletop, dropping it all the way down to lift that left leg up into tabletop, extending up towards the sky. Let's take an inhale to prepare. Slowly lowering that left limb as you lower your arms towards the mat, and then coming back to center. And that's 1. Keep going. modification is you can drop it with your knee bent as you lift and lower. Otherwise, you can keep your hands on the mat so that you can make sure that you're maintaining good control. Keep going, working hard, stick with me. I know you are getting a little bit fatigued in those muscles because I definitely am. Let's push through. And last one, coming back to center, aligning those knees. Arms to sky, take a deep breath in, lead through that right heel, exhale, arms to T-point, inhale, center. That's one. Keep working, pushing through. Let's rotate that pubic bone towards that chin, making sure you're not straining that lower back. Working really, really hard. And let's go for another 4 counts. And 1. And 2, keep working. And 3. And 4, slowly coming back to center, bending that left leg, dropping it down, lifting those hips, and slowly rolling that pelvis back onto the mat. Arms into T-point, feet slightly larger than shoulder width apart, and rocking those knees from left to right, just to stretch out. Very nice. I hope you have that heart rate up. It's a good feeling. Let's slowly come back to center. Extend both legs onto the mat, lifting arms overhead. Let's take a deep inhale, exhaling, lifting yourself all the way up into seated, reaching forward, bringing chest to toes. Inhaling, exhaling, stacking that vertebra. We're going to do 3 more of these, so keep working. Deep breath in, exhaling, reaching forward. Inhale to pause. Exhale slowly, coming back up. Deep breath in, exhaling, reaching forward, and slowly coming back up. Last exercise of the day. Let's keep pushing through. Got our elbows on the mat, bending those knees. We're going to lift our legs up towards the sky, pointing those toes. We're going to take a deep inhale. I want your hands on the mat so you can really focus on that support and stability. Drawing our knees out towards the side. Light little circle, then coming back to center. The key here is when we drop down to make sure that that pelvis doesn't lower. You want to keep that stability so your lower abdominals are working extra hard to make sure that that strain doesn't go into that lower back, but rather the activation and control goes into those lower abdominals as well as those upper ones. Let's do 2 more. Coming back to center and changing the direction, dropping down first, then to the side and a little circle. If you do feel like you want more of a challenge and you can control, you can make the circles bigger, but I would really recommend you keep the circles as little as possible. This is also really nice upper leg and quad toning exercise. Really, it works a lot of your body and through a lot of the movements and works through a lot of the activation of those various lower abdominal muscles. Let's do 2 more. And last one. Slowly bending those knees to tabletop, dropping those feet onto the mat, rolling yourself up and hugging those knees to chest, extending that back. Let's slowly tuck that left foot under that right glute as you lift that right foot over that left thigh and slowly rotating that left shoulder towards that right knee as you look over your right shoulder, just really opening that chest and looking around as much as you can. You should feel a beautiful stretch down that right glute and then into that back again, as well as into that neck. Now slowly coming back to center, extending that right leg, lifting that left foot over that right thigh and tucking in that foot to do the same thing in the other direction. Just looking over, opening that chest, looking over that left shoulder And allowing that stretch in that neck, in those glutes, and in that back. Slowly coming back to center. And last final little movement, you can just sit in a crisscross position. We're slowly going to bring our arms up towards the sky again. And now slowly reaching that right arm towards that left hand side as you reach over towards that left. And slowly coming back to center to change over towards the other side. Left arm over towards that right hand side, and try and get that opposite elbow onto the mat, the one that's closest to the mat. Last time on each side, inhaling to center, exhaling, reaching over, trying to make sure that those glutes stay in the ground, those sits bones. And last one. And slowly coming back to center, arms to ceiling, reaching as high as you can, and slowly bringing them down. Thank you so much for joining me on the mat today, and I hope you enjoyed that workout just as much as I did, and I'm so glad I got to share this beautiful space with you. I look forward to seeing you in that next video. If you enjoyed that video, hit that like button, and I will see you soon.